Okay. Okay. So we are gonna plan some things. Here is the thing about planning with me. I am Sarah and I am annoying sometimes. If you work with me on a pretty regular basis, you already know this. If we've been friends a long time, you already know this. But here's the thing about planning for me. Planning is not about being shitty to yourself. It is about being really intentionally kind, like aggressively so, to yourself and to the things you've accomplished in the past so that you can use those as the trampoline into the new year. Right? Well, I don't even really just want a diving board. Often I picture a diving board, but diving at, you know what's really funny about me? Here's a fun fact. I swam all through high school and college, and I do not love diving boards. I don't want things that move under my feet. So you will not catch me on the low dive or the high dive. You have to like talk me into the high dive. I have many times in my life gone up to the high dive and climbed back down, and I was a Division I college swimmer. So like, it's not like I can't swim. I just don't like falling. Um, which I think is valid personally. I almost failed that part of the like learn to teach swimming class. They were like, we're just gonna pass you because we know you know how to swim. Um, so we want a trampoline, but the best trampolines are built out of success rather than being mean. So what we do when we plan is really think intentionally about what's working and been working. Hello, cat. Ashley's, is that the kitten? Yeah, Ashley's got a kitten. Um, and so what we're going to do first is really dig into what worked. And this is the part where people are like, yeah, 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 but I want to plan. And I love you. And if I thought it was useful to skip this part, I totally would. I am efficient. I like to skip steps. Oh, I got more people. Oh, and he's back. And at the same time, we cannot skip this part. I would love to tell you that that is how this works, and it's not. So, the plan is we're going to start with successes, which maybe you've sat down and looked at, and maybe you haven't. My guess is you haven't as aggressively as I would like it to. Hi, my friend Bree. Another really happy face that I'm going to see. Look at all the faces I get today. And what's really fun to me is I don't know how many of you guys actually know each other. Probably not many. Like this is like pieces of my world from all different directions. So that is delightful. All right, so I'm gonna switch to slides. Here's the other thing, and most of you should know this on some level. I started life as a middle school teacher. Y'all don't have to be muted for me. I don't care. Please just talk to me. This is a conversation, not a like, here, let me have Sarah like magically fix my life. I wish it worked like that. In which case, you know, we do that, but it's not. I'm gonna keep moving this along. It'll be annoying. Oh, more people. Hold on. So, oh, and another face I'm so happy to see. Um, okay, wait. I'm gonna stop my screen share for just a second because I want to say hi to all these people. Um, Hi, all the people. I know Claire's is coming on. Karen Sullivan, I cannot tell you how happy I am to see your face and your name in this. Everybody send Karen Sullivan a hug because this made my month. Okay, anyways, back to normal planning. First, look around, see who you don't know, write down their name and become their friend. I'm not kidding. You think I'm kidding, but I'm really not. Um, most of you know that I'm not, but hi. Okay, so I'm gonna go to share my screen again now that I've been a complete weirdo. And if you're watching this on replay, please, these are also human beings. You're welcome to reach out to them. Okay, so Plan 2026 right here, right now. Usually I do this in December, and I was super sad that my life in December did not allow this to be my December. Personally, that made me just kind of sad, but my life didn't allow this in December, as many of you know. Let me give you a little bit of the like lay of the land. So first, we're gonna do the 2025 recap today. I am real committed to this whole success trampoline from last year. So you are going to have to do this with me, and probably you'll have to walk away afterwards and do some additional thinking. I will tell you that from my perspective, when I do this for myself, I do it over like a week. So, like in my journal, what I did at the start of January was like one of these questions each day so that I didn't have to do it all at once because then I'm like, stop talking about yourself. Um, but tomorrow we're doing what I think of as the meta plan, which is like the big grand planning, right? From feelings. And then on Wednesday, what we're going to do is like make it into bites. So that is the lay of this. And from here, we're going to just like go. All right. The other thing I'm going to tell you is you are going to have to talk to me. Hi, my name is Sarah, and I'm like that. Um, So please feel free to use the chat, but like, yeah, I'm happy to hear your smiley voices also. So don't be afraid. Like nobody in here is gonna be like, ugh, she talked too much. This is not those people. Um, or maybe they are, but like whatever. I'm not gonna hold on, I want to make this go the other direction. I don't know how to do that. Um, okay. First, what was your goal in 2025? What was the main thing you were trying to accomplish, the main focus, the main growth edge? It might have been money, it might have been something else, but like stop for a second. Do you even remember what it was? See, and that's the interesting thing about goal setting, isn't it? We set the goal and then we're like, that was fun. Yay, effort. So like pause for a second and just like think about what it might have been, right? Or think about your year and what it actually was. Like, for example, my goal in 2025 in my notebook was a certain amount of money and to build strength. Like that was my business goal and my human goal. I thought it was going to be like recovering from shoulder surgery and building like physical strength. Instead, it was like emotional fortitude, which was not my plan. So be careful what you ask for. But, in thinking about that, it was a hard time, maybe. It was something else. Think about like if you were to look backwards, what do you think your goal, what did you spend the year aiming at? Do you, if you don't think about what your official goal was, what do you think the year was teaching you? Yep. Survival mode. I feel like 2025 was a whole vibe, y'all. I would like to do something else this year. Um, okay, so either you have it or you don't, right? And that's okay either way. But here's the next thing to think about. Where did you end your year in relation to that goal? Or how do you feel about the year in general, right? Take a second, get your pen, hold it in your hand, right? Shedding that all no longer served, girl, for real. We shed a whole bunch of things. I didn't, I was like, no, thank you. Think about how you feel about the year, right? Sit down and just be like, how did I feel about what I accomplished in 2025 from a step back, step outside of it, pretend it's someone else's life. Pick up your pen and write for a minute. And when I say pick up your pen, I mean your pen. I know y'all are computer people, but like pick up your pen. The teacher in me is like, how did you really feel about it? Bree, your goal was to rebrand, get more clarity, and have a different relationship with yourself and not exactly like you envisioned. That is for real. The kitten stole the pen. We're having all kinds of things here. Because here's the thing I know for me, like I didn't reach the goal I thought I'd reach in 2025, but I feel like I accomplished a lot. right? And I didn't, it wasn't the same stuff I planned on in any stretch of the imagination. And sometimes years are like that. So my choices are to be really shitty about it and to be like, you didn't do what you said you'd do. Or to be like, you know what? There was a different plan and I did something different, right? I can choose how I relate to my past work. Um, Stacy definitely did it. And yes, absolutely stayed devoted to it. Yep, I agree with that. Align your services with that client. You're getting closer, you're still working on it. So like the goal sometimes is alignment. And I know we all know that alignment and realignment and reorganizing and structuring takes us longer than we realize. We think it's like a 5 minute thing. It's like I don't know, it's like a 5,000 minute thing because we tend to be like, oh, we'll just do this. But then we forget that like it's going to take iteration and try and all those things. So if you had to name a feeling for 2025, what do you think it is in retrospect? How did it feel? Yep. The theme is not what I planned. Realized the goal I set was not the goal that was most important. Yep. Soul reorganization. That's why we brought Stacy today. Tell us, tell us things. Um, right? Like we all kind of had a thought about how it was going to go, and then it was like, cool, I see you, and let me do it slightly differently. The goal felt overwhelming, but I didn't stop or give up. I feel proud. That is right. Right? So here's the other thing. Like, if you're here, no matter what happened in 2025, you're still here. The showing up is a part of it. What's the feeling you wrote down? And y'all can talk to me. I don't need you all to type to me. I'm gonna be in like the fifth circle of crazy if y'all don't start actually talking to me. Oh,
I don't have one word. I have a lot of words. I'm like sad, grief, excited, curious, but there's also like surrender in there and some like transformation and stuff. So it's like it's kind of a mixed bag.
kind of a mixed bag.
100% same.
But here's the other thing I would say is like if you had to put them in hierarchy, would surrender raise to the top, right? Like what raises to the top in the hierarchy? Nicole, what raises to the top?
Well, I would say sad, then surrender. Because you
Okay.
got, well, I would say acceptance, well, sad, acceptance, then surrender.
Hmm. But that's okay. Like that is a set of feelings. Here's the thing. We get to the end of the year and we're like, well, I should have just felt like I killed it. And then we're mean. Acceptance, surrender, right? Like those are maybe that was the theme of 2020 was what the fuck? The theme of 2021 was okay, we're here. 2022 was something else. 2023, I think, was kindness. 2024 was trust. 2025 is like, poof, all right, I can do this. However it showed up. Acceptance, right? We're just gonna do the things. Okay.
2025 was a whole bunch of what the fuck.
But you, as I know you so well, Clarissa, really shifted into acceptance so you can continue forward. And that's the truth of it.
Yeah.
Right? And you went into acceptance, like Nicole is saying, it was sad and it was hard. You accepted it, and then once you did, you moved. So that's
Well,
something
and
to,
I go back to something that you actually just said to me a couple of 2 weeks ago, like in 26, that I wrote down like word for word. You said the last 4 months you've been incredibly consistent and measured. I like the intentionality, and when it falters, you recover quickly, which was not something that you could have said about me in the midst of the darkness a year ago this year, like a year ago this month.
no, but that's how
So
we accept it
it's
and we regroup. Like I feel like what I've done in the last couple of weeks is like pull it all back into the center. You know that like
mhm.
I don't know, I just all I got is hand gestures for that. So like, hello, it goes like this. Badassery with your magic. Mhm. Okay, so the next question. is where we get into the stuff. What actually happened in 2025? Like, what can you quantify? Tomorrow, when I do slides, I'm making these words in the middle more so that I don't have to keep moving these pictures. Um, oh, somebody else is here. Who is this? Hold on, I got menus and weird faces. Oh, and my dad is here. I love all the people part of this. What are the things you can quantify? So for me, here's what I think about. I quantify, and I have it, where is it? It's probably right here. I sat down and looked at 2025, and I don't track a ton of numbers, but I do track a particular set. I track money, I track one-on-one connects, I track how many presentations I gave for other people, how many things I created for myself. I track how many podcast episodes I released. I tracked, I wrote down how many emails I sent. I track growth in email list, growth on TikTok and YouTube, and LinkedIn. And that's it. Like I could track a billion things. I have a math degree, right? Like I'm a math teacher. I could track everything. But like I find that I get overwhelmed with over quantifying. And so like what are the things that matter to you that you track and that you have some sort of control over, right? Me looking at number of emails sent, I control that number. Me looking at podcasts released, I control that number. At workshops done, I control that number, right? I don't necessarily control followers, but that does mean to me often I take that as evidence of showing up. Like I showed up in those places and people saw me, right? So that is why I look at those numbers. Um, and really like that's kind of what I track. I did break out the money into like where it came from. For me, there are different buckets that it comes from. And so I did look at that, but I also know that I'm changing the buckets for this year. So that is, a part of, it's nice to know, but it's also like, and then I'm going to change the buckets. So look at me go. What are the things you're going to quantify, or what are the things you're not sure how to quantify? Like, ask some questions. What are your thoughts about all this?
I didn't track a lot last
Yeah.
year because I had one main client that was the majority of my time and revenue, but I did track revenue amounts and seasonality where things shrank and where they expanded to see if that was a pattern from the previous year,
Hmm.
based on either client or my efforts. A lot of times there's a lagging factor of about 90 days based on sales efforts. So being mindful of that. And the other thing I connected tracked was just the one-on-one connections, literally like visualizing those people and sending good energy their way.
Lovely. Like, what a good way to stay connected to those people, right? And so I don't think I don't think having a ton of things to track is necessary because what happens is we then spend a ton of time tracking things instead of doing them. And tracking things is very comfortable. I can make spreadsheets and I can make tally marks and I can make stickers and pictures and I can make bar charts. I can do it all. And like, meh, Deb Stanley, it's nice to see your face too. Hi. Um, so, think about what you want to track. Are there things you wish you had tracked that you didn't, right? Like I wish I had tracked introductions made for people. And so this year I'm going to. Like when I'm connecting other people, I'm tracking that this year.
Deb and I connected.
I
Hey,
know,
Deb.
Deb, I connected like literally everyone.
You
So if
did.
you don't
I
know
know.
that,
I appreciate it.
like,
Hi, Nicole.
like she knows Nicole, she's gonna get together with Jess. I don't know, she should probably know all of you. I don't know. She's like, whatever. All the people. I think Deb, yep. Like y'all should all know each other. Okay. But like, what do you think? A lot happened last year, new and building. I tracked things I wouldn't have even been relevant. Yes. Okay. Essentially a gratitude and celebration list. So here's the question I have for you, Jess Hershey. Do you, how often are you writing down and tracking by celebration, right? Like I know one of the things I do as part of like what I would say is real daily-ish practice, daily-ish. This is me sneaking out of that dailiness, is that I write down in this notebook three things that worked from yesterday, three things I'm celebrating, one thing I want today, and one thing I need. And I've done that for probably 18 months. So, like, how are you tracking that?
I love that. I have some sporadic efforts at tracking these types of things. I think I started collecting when I'm getting like positive feedback or like great verbalization from somebody else. Someone says something kind or cheers me on. I'm collecting those. I have a little envelope with a heart on it, and it has their little like printed off notes in it.
Yeah.
And so returning to that when I'm not feeling confident, that's a really nice thing for that. And then trying to practice having like a weekly gratitude list to kind of look back on what happened with my week. But I love your idea of having that regularity.
It is, it's three things that went that actually it's not even went well. Three things I'm celebrating. Like I try really hard not to connect it to went well. And I love Jess's little envelope. Like I had a little envelope with a heart on it. Like that. And then it's because one of the things I am trying to practice is saying what I want. So it's one thing I want and one thing I need. And sometimes it's really hard for me to make the difference between them or to have one or both. And that has been really interesting to practice. Um, but that has been useful for me. And so what I get to do when I was recapping the year is I can flip through here now and be like, okay, on April 7th, I was celebrating X. On, June 4th, it was this. On July 3rd, it was this. I don't have all the days, but I have probably at least 4 days a week in there. And that's been really, it's a good reminder for me to like be a little nicer about it. 'Cause-
Something that I did in the second half of the year is I pulled out an unused planner and found something that I really liked in it, which on the bottom section of the right-hand page of each spread, it had like things to track. And it had just blank space for one line and then the week's check boxes. And I used it as like a choose your own adventure kind of. It helped me establish what was important for me to track versus what I thought I should track, like what really was meaningful to me. And one of the things is I take a daily thyroid medication, and I'm supposed to wait an hour on an empty stomach before I can eat anything. And I always want to have coffee or something to drink or whatever before that hour is over. So one of the things that stuck from just writing down like anything I wanted to track was water first. So that I found myself doing. I also practice in and out the artist's way. So I started tracking morning pages. But I didn't hold myself accountable to track the same thing every week. I just wrote down on any given week, just it could have been one time. Like I did this thing, I liked it, and I did it on Wednesday or whatever it is.
Well,
So
but I think it's
I
like
like that.
freedom to be like, this week, here's what's important.
Yeah.
And I think that's like meta plan versus mini plan. Are there things overall that you want to kind of do as a habit? Yes. Are there things that like are important in season,
Hmm.
right? And it's that push and pull and being like, okay, this is allowed because we get really, as human beings, very like weird about tracking things.
Mhm.
Like, no, 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 I have to track this from now until I die.
Yeah, like it's a contract.
Right. It's like a contract with who, right?
Mhm.
It's like who wrote the thing I think all the time is says who,
Mhm.
right? There's a little 5-year-old mind brain that's like, says who? Who made that rule? Like she's a jerk, but she's right so often. Like, and so it's like, okay, do I have to do it like that? I don't know. Okay, so let us talk about successes. In 2025, what did you accomplish? What did you decide? What did you try? What did you experiment with? What did you learn? So here's the thing about this list. I often take it in pieces. I often find that one of them is easier than another for me to approach. Maybe you try to write down right now one thing in each bucket, and you come back in a little while and try a couple others, right? Like I try to write in this little notebook. I only use little notebooks because I don't like big notebooks because then there's more page. I used this little notebook and I made one of these, each of these one page, and I've been filling in the page over time. But like, it is important for us to acknowledge that decisions are a part of success. Sometimes what we decided was to stop something. Great. Sometimes the decision we made in life impacted everything else, and we had to adjust. Fine. Sometimes we do experiments and they fail, and that is okay because success gets built on those, like, huh, that didn't go the way I thought. Whoops. Right? Success is built out of learning, whether we learned it on purpose or not. Right? Sometimes the universe is like, here's this thing I'm going to teach you. For example, my daughter is a competitive rock climber. Saturday, they had a competition. One of the things that she really has a hard time with, and we're working on, is remembering that she's really there for fun and friends, not to like win the universal title, right? And when they put them in order, they had a list on Saturday of what order they would compete in. And she was right between three of the like want to conquer the universe kids, right? Which is really hard. And I said, okay, well, this is the universe saying, here's how we practice. Can you be around these girls who you enjoy, except are trying to conquer the universe, and practice staying within yourself and still having fun? So that's something she's learning, right? What are things you did from these buckets? And you don't have to type them all at me because I can't F around and find out. Stace, it's truth. Um, Tell me something. What's the first thing that comes to mind in any of these buckets?
One of the biggest things I did differently was to join a group here called 52 Connections. So for me, I love face-to-face coffee, taking tea. And so this group allowed me to have some things online, but also connect face to face with people who are in this area. And that's just really important to me. And I've really never done that. And I still not good at tracking, but I like Gina, I like your idea of tracking right in my planner because I tend to write in a bunch of different places and then I don't remember what I've done or where I put certain things. So that was a huge win. And then it's all about authentic referrals. So how do we refer each other besides a business card? Like we know each other now. We know each other on a human level. So a lot of what you do, Sarah, except it's referrals. And well, not that you don't do referrals, but I've connected you because her name's Sarah
I know
also.
she and I are on the calendar. It's
And
just
you two
November and
remind me.
December were.
You remind me so much of each other. And she's writing a book now, so I'm helping her with that. But it's just, yeah, that's one of the biggest things. But I didn't track it. So I still don't know well, how many did I actually do and how, because like I said, it's all kind of in different places. And
Yeah.
so this year I will use my planner. So thanks, Gina. Take your idea and do that way.
So tell me other things. What did you learn? What did you try? What did you decide? I think sometimes those are the ones that really get stuck for me. I'm like, ugh, decisions I made. What else makes it to your list?
I decided to do the really scary thing and find out what commercial real estate is all about. And that was the closest in my 5 years of this business that I've been to giving up. And it was like, no, we're not giving up. We have to make this work. Has been the dream all along. Do it.
And by spring, it will be done.
By 4 weeks, it will be done.
Oh, holy shit, they're started. Yay. Um, but this is like so context, Ashley runs a tutoring business. She has people that work for her, and they are going to have a space this year. They are going into a building, and all of the people are coming, and it is going to be, I mean, it's a pretty big deal, but that was a decision, right? It was I'm going to make this thing real. Decided on my business model, Nicole says, wrote presentation, got feedback, updated. You have a direction. So it's like what I think is interesting sometimes is we decide and we undecide, right? That is the danger of decisions, is we decide and then we're like, did I decide? Nicole is finally like, this is the direction. And that is a relief. Drive as to Connecticut and show up as a writer, right? Write your face off, Stacy. But it's also like decided to be a writer, right? It's a decision about who you're becoming, which I think is an entire thing. And bookkeeping services. I know that was a big one, right? And that's like made decision, did the next thing. Tell me something you learned. And like you could actually talk to me again. You can type. I know it's scary to talk to all these people.
I'm not scared. I'm just eating. So thank you. Awesome to see you. Happy New Year, everybody. So, I thought that if when I told somebody that I do bookkeeping and tax work for, I thought when I said, "Hey, I'm not going to do your bookkeeping anymore. You need to find somebody else," that they would say, "Hey, I don't want you to do my taxes either." And they did not. Now,
No.
for one client, that's a good thing. One client, that's a bad thing.
Well, but the teacher in me says that we should never offer people choices we don't want them to take, right? So maybe for that client, we also no longer offer tax services.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, I think that but it is really hard to say to people who are paying you for something, no, thank you, I don't want you to pay me this anymore. Right? But it is, I have a note in my planner. Um, the note about the email I want to write at the end of the week says the art of clearing space for more. And that's really what you're talking about. And that is both a practice and an art about saying, okay, no, thank you, this. I'm going to do it differently. And I'm going to decide to say no when this gets offered to me. Because when we decide to say no, the universe is like, let me get you a couple of opportunities to say yes to this. Right? So holding those decisions is a really big deal. What else did y'all learn? I know you learned like 1,000 things, and now you're like, I didn't learn anything. Well, it's like when somebody says, recommend me a book, and you're like, oh, I don't read. I read every day. I read every day. And you're like, I've never read a book. I don't read.
I I actually learned, and I know this to be true like globally, but to be on the personal experience of it, ignore the husband dying in the background if you can hear him. Um, People want to help, and when you just say, "Hey, I need support," or not even an I need, like I just had some tough times, and people are like, "Hey, what can I do? Can I do this? Can I do that?" And it blew me away.
Well, and they actually mean it. God forbid. What is fascinating to me, and I think about all the time, is how often we offer help and how quickly we turn it down. But what we do when we turn it down, right, is a disservice to like, I always think like, okay, but if I was the one offering, I would really mean it. And so I'm trying to be really aware of like when people are like, no, 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 I want to help. And I'm like, okay, but if this was in reverse, I'd want you to take my help. So, okay. Right? In reverse, I'd be annoyed. that I can't help you. And so I might as well take this help. That's so annoying. But it is how I have to talk myself into it. So there you go. Psychology. What what did you experiment with that you don't think went the way you planned? Jess, what you got? Or you can go back to what you were gonna say.
Oh
Either
no,
that's
that's okay. I was gonna say something I learned, but I'll think about this one. Um, Something I experimented with that didn't, well, I went to an in-person conference. So the same, I generally have had online connections and I tried an in-person conference and my thought initially was like, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna meet more people and I'm gonna get more clients, like that's why people go to conferences, right? And what I got instead was this reminder that I am a person who created my business. I am a creator and I get to have creative decision in where my business goes and really tapping into some like creative efforts within my business. That was a different direction than I expected.
What's interesting is I went to an in-person conference this year for the first time in a long time. And I think one of the decisions I made ahead of it was that I was just going to go meet people and let it be what it was. Like all I wanted out of it was to meet as many humans as possible and let it just, I don't know. Like also I took the first day to just do nothing by myself, which I really enjoyed.
What conferences did you guys go to?
I went to, it's called Mom 2. I saw Nicole there. What did you go to, Jess?
I went to the KIT conference, like formerly
Oh,
ConvertKit. Yeah, it's actually located here in Boise, and so which is where I'm at. And so I went to one locally and did kind of the small investment into getting into conferences and trying them out. And I like that it's small. I think it's only like 500 people. So I could meet lots of people without drowning in
Yeah.
extrovert energy.
would you go back?
I would. I got the ticket to go back again this year. So
When's that?
June or July. Yeah, it's fun. You would like it, Sarah, knowing you because it's much more grounded in like authenticity and real connection than a lot of conferences I hear.
That would have to go on my 2020 whatever next year is calendar
Yeah.
because this year is 12U baseball. I don't know if any of you know anything about little kid baseball, but 12U baseball is like a whole thing. Um, what is something? Okay, so part of your job right now is to continue these lists, right? There's more I want to add to this set of questions, so we're going to go back to slides for a second. If I can figure out how. Okay. I keep changing the model here. Look at me. Okay. So then the other part of this is what are you proud of and what did you let go of? I hold these questions from that other set because I think two things. One, what we're proud of and what we accomplished are not always the same thing. They touch in the Venn diagram, but they are not the same circle. In letting go of things, it is its own bucket. And it could be, I think, oftentimes letting go of things is one of the most difficult things to track and to remember because once we let it go, it's like a balloon that went into the sky. It's like gone. You're like, where'd it go? But it is the thing that enables so much of what else we do. Often, what we let go of are internal thoughts. It is the I don't belong here. It is the I'm not supposed to do it this way. It is the it has to be like this. The only way is this, right? It is anything in those buckets that is like that is, you know, part of the conversation, right? And so I feel like these two sort of live separately for me because proud of doesn't mean it's done, doesn't mean it went well, doesn't mean I finished, doesn't mean anything. Besides, I want to pause and be proud of it, right? Let go of is tricky. I had to really, like that page in my notebook, I had to, it was days. I continue to go back to that one because I am like sometimes it takes me a really long time to remember those things. And so I like over days, but eventually if I sit with it long enough, it'll come back. Um, so are there things that come to you that you're proud of that maybe are accomplishments or not, right? That maybe you wouldn't call out any other way, right? What are things you're proud of that you let go of? Those are two separate ideas, but maybe they're the same. I can tell you one of the things on my list is that I was incredibly proud of us as a household because we decided to let go of being in a neighborhood that didn't serve us and just picked up and moved, much to the dismay of basically everyone we know. But like either people got it or they don't, and I don't need them to understand. So I let go of like everything related to that. We just had to do what we had to do. I can see your brains thinking. It's so fun. It's my favorite part of teaching is to watch people like watch little words walk across your foreheads. Um, what do you think?
I mean, my letting go is in progress of thoughts that don't serve me. So I started working with two people writing a book, and immediately I'm like, who am I to think I can help these people? They're writing chapter books and they're writing books that I like. My books are simple. I haven't written a chapter book and blah blah blah. And I'm like, I had to really, and it's daily. Like I have to get out of my head. I know a lot of it's just listening, which is from you, Sarah. Listening and asking questions. I mean, it's not, I don't have to know everything and I don't know everything. So, but I can figure it out and we can figure it out as we go. I don't have to know everything. But yeah, the thought process is like a daily, yeah, reminding myself that what they need is an encourager, cheerleader. You can do this. We're going to do this together. And I can do that. The other things we'll figure out. So,
Questions
yeah.
come to you. I think here's the other thing. Stacy's here is those internal things, if you can just let them, it's hard because we don't even realize they're talking sometimes, but then letting go of trying to control disappointment. Whoa. Ugh. That one gives me the like, especially others, about how it's supposed to look. Stace.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say it's sneaky for me, disappointment. It's sneaky. It's like, oh, I'm realizing I don't want to disappoint myself. I don't want to disappoint. I wrote down says who made that rule. I swear I could write the book. Says who. So there you go, Sarah. I'm gonna write a
What's
book
the
called
title of
Says
your book?
Who
Says
made that,
who?
and it's gonna have the F word in it. So who made that effing rule? But I realize that I hold back because I don't want to disappoint myself or again others. And turning 50, I don't know, now a year and a half ago, I give less F's about that too. But it's this like I'm disappointing myself because I'm not doing it the way the writer, like I don't sit down at 9 o'clock in the morning and do, and it's like, so if we can just let go of, I guess, the way we think it should be, or at least for me, then the way has space to actually come through. And I've just been finding myself like it's okay to lean in. It's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to lean into that in ways that has been transformative. So yeah.
Well, it's interesting that part of what you're talking about there is allowing your process to be your process to be your process. So,
Exactly.
like, we all have places in our lives and our work where we let our process be our process. This is just the way we do that thing. And if other people do it differently, then great. And then we come into business in particular or work in whatever way we frame that. And it's like, well, but it's supposed to be like this. And like, well, how come I can do that like that over there, but over here I have to follow Bob's rule? Like, why did Bob say that? I don't give a shit about Bob. Um, but like it's that like And Jess Hershey, to your point, letting go of a particular version of your life and your business or whatever is important and also requires, I think, a little bit of grieving, right? And I think we forget that. And we forget that like we're allowed to be like, oh, I'm sad that I changed that. And I changed it for a good reason. It can be both. And that is, when we take a reflective lens on that, I don't know, who wants to touch that with a pole? No one. But I think that that qualifies as proud of. I did this thing. Part of me is sad about it, but I did it for a really good reason, and it's going to open doors I didn't know I needed opened, right? Needing a business minimum, yes, right? Like you can, Penny, do what you need to do, what you need to do, and the way you're going to do it, and it's going to be right. That is particularly hard for our number loving friends. I actually had a client 2 weeks ago be like, okay, here's my plan. And we talked all about feelings and all these things. And then she was like, all right, I'm going to go make some projections. And I was like, nope, 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 stop. Hold on, finance geek. That's not what this is about. Please put that in your pocket. That's not what we're doing here. And she was like, but that's what I do. And I was like, right. And that's how we're going to do it different by not doing that. She about I thought her head would explode for a minute. Like, but that's like we want to be different by doing different, right?
And the grief that you mentioned when you were commenting to Jess is I've been going through that for about 4 months. Like from the time I was like, oh shoot. Wait, I still get to be a business owner. I get to still say that I'm self-employed, but I don't have to make a certain business revenue in order to be legit. Like I can let my retirement investments pay, like fund my lifestyle. Like why else did I save up all this money if not for doing this? And just because I'm taking that money, that income that I get now, doesn't mean that I have to give up being self-employed.
Well, and just because you have, it's like people come to me all the time and they're like, well, I have a side job. I'm like, okay, what does that have to do with anything? You can still be a business owner and have a side job. Dun dun dun. You can be multiple things all at once. Like you are legit because you are legit, because it is, because it exists, not because of anybody else and what they think, right? And allowing that to be true, that's our acceptance, right? We're back to that circle. Whoops, hate that. And it's, letting go of that's what people say business has to be full time. It's funny. What Penny does really well is accept the flexibility that her life is, right? That you can be anywhere in any location. But what's interesting about that is you're super accepting of location and schedule and all that thing, but not the direction money came from. So you know how to be flexible in all of those places, but you're not flexible here, which is interesting. It's not like you don't know how to be flexible. It's just applying that flexibility, and all of us do that. We're really flexible with something, and then you're like, I can't be flexible here. There's rules. I know, I know. Okay. So back to slides for a sec. No, I have to hit share first. It's cute, just like I was doing it. This is the last one. I'm gonna move that up for a sec. So, how does your data say 2025 went? And how does that match or mismatch your feeling about 2025? This is a really important question. This is the last one. And it is important because it is where we kind of go to be like, oh, the data says I did a lot of interesting things, that I accomplished a lot, that I tried a bunch of things. My feeling is that I'm sad about it. But like the data and the feeling are mismatched. And the feeling is fine and relevant, but it's like, oh, I actually have more to be proud of here than I realized. Oh, I did more things than I realized. And our brains are super, super good at remembering the hard stuff and being like, yeah, I did climb that mountain, but I did it in April, so it's not relevant anymore. You're like, oh, right? Like, it's so we're great at like, I did do that amazing thing 3 days ago. It doesn't count anymore. Um, so, the feeling that we often carry is of not quite enough. But making the list helps us to be true that up a little bit and be like, I did more than I realized. Because I don't know about you, but any of you remember anything you did February last year? Did it exist? Was it 500 years ago? Because I quite honestly cannot. Maybe it's me, but I did have to go to my planner and my journal and my calendar to be like, did February happen last year? I don't know. Let me go look at what I was doing. Because I had to literally backtrack it because I, I barely knew what I did in April. You made a huge mistake in February. That's all you remember about it. Brains are such fun places, aren't they? But I bet you did a million useful things in February too. But you still remember, like, who's got one of these? Do you remember the guy you undertipped in like 2022 or 2004 in a restaurant? Do you have one of those in your brain? Yes, of course. Do you remember the really wonderful thing you did for somebody 2 days ago? No. Sucks. Brains suck. They're amazing. And also, what the heck? So, the homework here, work on some lists. Sit back and be like, okay, let me take a little bit of time. What did I accomplish? What am I proud of? Where did I learn something really useful? What did I let go of? What did I decide? Right? And that's fair too. Maybe the data is like, meh, but you feel good about what you learned and what you grew into, right? And fun fact, these questions, these end of the year questions I'm giving you guys, I actually use these at the end of every month. And then I find doing this end of the year thing a lot easier. But it's also a lot easier to like do for just a month than a year. So I cheat. P.S. I cheat. But you can feel free to use them at the end of the month. Also a handy way to do this. Go back and look. Because tomorrow what we're gonna do is be like, okay, this year, where are we going? But it is a way more successful thing if you're starting from, I did do a lot of shit in 2025. Look at me. It is much easier to be like, okay, okay, here's what I'm thinking. From a little bit of data and a lot of stuff to be proud of, than it is just to be like, I don't know what happened last year. What was that? I don't know. Right? Let us use what we've learned as the starting point. Good, bad, useful. Tell me some things. Tell me, 2 stars and a wish. Do you ever done this before? Have I ever made you do this? 2 stars, I have definitely made some of you do this. 2 stars and a wish is a teaching mechanism. It's with kids, you call it an exit ticket. Like you would have them write it on a post-it note on their way out the door. Tell me 2 things you got, liked, learned, needed. One thing you wish. That's it. You can write them in the chat. You can tell me out loud. Do what you gotta do. 2 stars and a wish is one of my favorite mechanisms on earth. You're all like, she's such a weirdo. Why?
Explain it again. My brain didn't process.
2 stars and a wish. So you look at like what we just did for the last hour, and it's like, what's 2 things that you got and one thing you wish for? Mm, that might make it up. That's the only star I need, girl. Um, poof.
Okay, I was typing it, but I'll just write it. I got the realization that I did more for myself last year than I realized, and that like I got more accomplished than I realized. And that when you put yourself out there, you get more back, like more support, more influence, more that kind of stuff. And the wish is to, I wish that I'm going to carve out time for myself to like actually sit with these a little bit more. I really like the idea of doing this at the end of every month.
So maybe one of the things that we all agree to together at the end of Wednesday, because you're the second person to say that already, is maybe we'll put that in our calendars because
Yeah.
things that go on our calendars have more likelihood to happen, friends. For me, it is like just the thing I do in my journal that day. Tends to be like the second or third day of the next month, whatever. But that is the commitment. Other stars and wishes, continued curiosity. I like it.
A star is I learned to ask for help. I got better at asking for help. In fact, that's how I was connected to the community I'm in now because I said, I am tired of doing this on my own. I just feel like I'm over here floundering and trying to figure all the things out. And two people in the same day at two different coffees said, you need to join 52 Connections. And so learning to ask for help. And then a wish is just keeping more consistent data because I have nothing to look back on now. It's probably there, but it's in so many places that, yeah, that's a
Listen,
wish.
I don't know if y'all know this about me, but I am like a tracking sheet of paper on my desk. Like this is literally it. This lives on my desk. It will sit here for the next 12 months. By December, it'll be all wrinkly and dirty. It will still be here. It lives in my planner. I literally don't go anywhere without it.
Yeah.
Anybody
I think
else?
I'll remember and I
Oh God.
don't.
Holy tacos. Not a
I
chance.
know. And I know better. I kept data. I was a special ed teacher. I know
No,
better. I
you
still,
know
maybe
better.
that's why. Maybe there's a part of me that's like, I did that for so long that the thought of keeping any kind of data is like, nope. So, but this is
But
different.
like
And I,
make it
yeah.
fun for Deb. Like I would like a sticky post-it, you know, the big post-it note posters. I'd put a big post-it note poster on my wall and use stickers. Like, I am that kind of dork. Hello. Okay. My friends, I'm so happy to see your faces. This is the best part for me. Stars framework, yes. Talk it out with his husband, yes. Well, and so it's all what you ask for, right? Yeah, if you want to talk it out loud, people are here for that. You can do it with your husband, but we're also all people that would talk to you about it as much as you like, because this is what I like to do. We are tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern. I will today, once this processes, send you the recording. You have the worksheet from today. I will also send you the worksheet for tomorrow. Yes. You know what? My husband is really good at being like, "Oh, did you forget you did those things?" God damn, it makes me crazy. Um, and then we will keep carrying through. Tomorrow is big scale plan. Wednesday is bites, including like scheduling monthly reviews, my friends. Welcome to the program. Um, I will see you if you need me in between. I live on here in this snowy wonderland, and I won't be going far because it's cold as hell outside. But I will see you all tomorrow.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank
Bye,
you.
friends.